The year is 1997, and under the heat of the July sun, the waves of the Atlantic Ocean lap against an oceanographic trawler, the Ocean Wrestler, currently several hundred miles east from the Bermuda Triangle and alone on the horizon. On the weather deck stand 4 searchers, the sea breeze filling their lungs as they pose for a photo. Behind them, a specially constructed, toughened submersible designed to operate under severe and abnormal conditions, ideal for their purposes. Standing proud in his boots is Greg Blower, the financial backing behind this historic adventure, the sweat congealing on his brow as he suffers the infernal heat. Behind Mr. Blower is Simon Creek, officially Mr. Blower's bodyguard, unofficially the good-for-nothing nephew. Then, the enigmatic Helen Milton with her alert scientific mind, educated in the top colleges in the country. Finally, Professor Caldwell, world-renowned archaeologist, considered to be a fruitcake on the hunt of a lost cause by many in the archaeological community, but in his heart and mind, he knows the many clues and legends he has followed will prove true in the end. The 4 enter and seal the only exit to the submersible. The tension in the air is thick, and as the professor checks the oxygen pressure levels, the winch is started up and the submersible is slowly lowered into the deep, murky Atlantic Ocean. The search for a mystery hidden by the sands of time has begun. This is the search for Atlantis. Atlantis, a myth known around the world as the city which was sunken by an angry god. Many have searched for it and failed. The lost city has hidden itself well from the prying eyes of the world. As the submersible descends fathom after fathom, Helen watches the instruments act quirkily. It started with a twitch here and there, then some unbelievable readings. Looking at his chronometer, the professor smiles to himself. A quick warning about an abnormal magnetic field puts Helen's mind at rest, but agitates Mr. Blower and confuses Simon. It happened so slowly they almost didn't notice. At first it was just a little dim and warm. Then as the sleek yellow submersible continued into the magnetic field, it got brighter and brighter and warmer and warmer. Then Simon noticed a fish, a big fish, a glowing fish. He pointed it out to the professor, who smiled and said it was a prophetic dolphin, reciting a passage written by Christopher Columbus, who spoke of mystic glowing creatures making ethereal noises and guiding them through dangerous waters. It took just a second for the professor to decide the path they should take, and as the dolphin began to swim further into the murkiness, the professor told Helen to use the dolphin as their guide. This drew more than a raised eyebrow from Mr. Blower, who was expecting a well-choreographed scientific mission. He wasn't expecting this. Guiding the submersible through the silence of the seabed, leading them right to the center of the magnetic field, Helen watched the radar as many other curious dolphins began to surround them. Helen smelt the burning electronics of the guidance console and knew they were going to crash. The submersible shook violently as it made contact. Everybody was thrown from their seats onto hard, unforgiving surfaces. In the dim light from outside, Mr. Blower searched for his cigar lighter, constantly muttering insults at the professor. A hull-ripping creak shuddered through the small craft as it finally came to rest. Simon found Mr. Blower in the darkness and helped him to his feet. Meanwhile, the professor was both thanking and praying to the gods. Helen piped up with a status report, her fingers trying the dead controls to no avail. Most of the electrics were gone and the hull was taking on water. Then the professor suggested she should try the outside lights, as they had their own power supply. There it was, the professor's holy grail and Mr. Blower's unique business opportunity, Atlantis. In London, several days later, and in the middle of a snowstorm, a newspaper editor waits.
Kendall, you look exhausted. Have all those football matches you reported on finally got to you?
Not really. It's actually a great job.
I see. Well, you remember a couple of weeks back you said you really wanted to be a serious reporter. Well, now here's your chance. I'm sending you to the Caribbean to find a missing professor. It's a top story, and I know you won't let me down.
Well, Did you say the Caribbean?
Yes. It seems Professor Caldwell went there recently, but since then, nobody has heard a thing from him. You may remember that he came into the office a few months back, claiming he was onto the biggest archaeological discovery of this century.
Chief, I'm happy doing the sports reviews here in snowy England. The Caribbean sounds great, but this is a job for a more seasoned reporter. Isn't there somebody else you could send?
Now, Kendall, I think you're underestimating your talents. I've seen something in you which only the best reporters have. I think it's about time you went on a serious report. You're wasted on the sports section. This assignment will hone your skills. All expenses are paid, and you're free use of the company's plane to get you wherever you need to go.
You want me to fly in that rust bucket across the Atlantic? Forget it!
It's not so bad. Here, take this rum. Have a quick drink before you take off, and you'll be out like a light. You'll find that you'll hold together once in the air.
Are you sure you can't get anybody else to do this?
I'd go myself, but I'm working on this ancient languages piece for the next issue. It's fun for an old connoisseur like me, but you wouldn't appreciate it.
The Caribbean, I'm beginning to like the sound of sun-swept beaches and...
Bye, Kendall. Go find me that professor.
Bye, slave driver. Oh, I mean, Chief.
I'm wasting my time on him. I'll bet the editor wanted a St. Bernard because of the little keg of brandy. Way to the outside world. A quick taxi ride. I'm at the airport. This would be the infamous lady painter of the Caribbean. I think I expected someone different.
Excuse me, ma'am, but what are you painting? From here you can only see the fountain, some buildings, and a couple of palm trees.
Don't call me ma'am. Call me Judith. Oh, Aunt Judith. World-renowned psychic painter.
Okay, Aunt Judith. And what is it that you are painting right now?
I'm painting your future. But this is not the time to ask questions. You're a good-looking young man. Don't you have a girlfriend?
You're the psychic one. You tell me.
It doesn't work that way. Why don't you do something for the old legs of Aunt Judith?
Okay, sure. What do you want me to do?
Go and fill up this little pot with clean water. You see, I can't wash my brushes with this dirty one.
Okay, I understand. Well, just give it to me, Aunt Judith, and I'll see that you get some clean water.
Good. Thank you.
Have you seen a strange-looking English guy around here? Well, he's a scientist and probably came here with a lot of equipment, doing some research.
If I'd have seen such a man, I wouldn't have missed a dinner opportunity. Dear, I've seen nobody like that.
Okay, thanks anyway.
Reads, I'm on spiritual retreat. For urgent messages, write to Postbox 335, Hotel Splendid, Bahamas, your loving priest. Since when was the Bahamas a spiritual retreat? I think I should try using the tap. I feel like I'm just pouring my chances of success away. He doesn't look very friendly.
Excuse me, friend. Is it possible to visit the museum?
Certainly, if you pay for a ticket.
Why did you leave your old wreck right here?
Old wreck! This is a classic Mustang. You just can't find these cars anymore.
So, how much is an entrance ticket?
$2. Who gave you permission to touch? This is ancient stuff. If everybody touches it, it won't be long before everything is ruined.
Needle points east. The inscription says, "Here the pirate Mancuson placed his compass as an everlasting memory of his first heroic boarding." A bit of a megalomaniac, this Mancuson. What a hodgepodge. What is it supposed to be? What a hodgepodge. Nothing concerning football. What a grim face the pirate Mancuson had. If this portrait is a good likeness, he really was scary. Look, Viva the South Wind. That must be his motto. What a hodgepodge. He doesn't look very friendly.
Sorry. Don't you have anything better to do than breathe down my neck?
Don't try to be funny. I know what kind of guy you are. I don't trust leaving you alone. And then, I'm only doing my job.
There's a motto carved on this shield, Viva the South Wind. You can turn it a little, but nothing happens. Why is this piece of cloth hanging out of the wall? Very strange. Doesn't help to pull it. It's stuck in there tight. All ancient and decaying artifacts. Bet this thing made one heck of a bang. I've never seen so many ancient books in one place before. Judging by the dust and its general condition, I'd say that it's a very ancient book. From here, it should be possible to see the entrance to the museum. Look, you can see the curator's rickety old car. Hey, there's a letter tucked inside. Hey, there's a letter. Judging by the dust, I'd say that it's a very ancient. It's signed by the chief of the governor's guards. It seems to be a service report. Let's see what's in there. After 3 days of strict siege, my men managed to penetrate inside the fortress, forcing the barricaded doors. However, inside there was no sign of Mancusan pirates. They vanished again, using means which may resemble sorcery. Interesting. Better not. If it falls to pieces, I'll have to pay for it. It's a real antique. Who knows where he found it? Selection of tasteless junk. Old junk.
I heard that once there was a pirate called Mancusan sailing from here. Do you know anything about him?
Oh, they're old tavern stories. You don't believe that stupid stuff, do you?
But what about all the evidence in the castle museum?
It's probably all fabricated as a tourist attraction. I don't believe in any of it.
This rock looks like a good place to sunbathe. I'm no strong man. The rock stays where it is. Snappy little things, crabs. Oh no! It's gone under there! The little monster. It's been very worn, and it's got a piece of cloth missing from the one sleeve. It isn't good enough to wash the floors with. Forget it. Old dirty mug. What a strange idea the Mexicans had to put a... What a strange idea the Mexicans had to put a squared hole in the middle of their coins. Seems to be the professor's handwriting. If I can make out this terrible handwriting, I think it reads, maybe Simon is a fool, but he's strong as a lion. Who is this Simon? With his bare hands, he tore up the headstone from the floor. The church, and under it was the missing key. I can't read anything else but a rusty passage to an ancient tomb.